they're seeing the ninth ward, the only place being neglected, the only place not being treated well, not receiving any money, and these young kids.
That's a true actor right there.
So dedicated. Kids needing to make money for themselves and then choosing a route that they probably wouldn't have to go otherwise, and they start robbing casinos throughout Louisiana. And that's loosely what the film's about. Don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, we all been there before.
Yeah, you know, when heist situations, sometimes you just gotta go rob a casino. But I think it's also, it's like it's metaphorical, because it's, you know, the first things that were, there's a line in the film that the first things that were being built right after Hurricane Katrina, the first things, Harrah's was up right away, you know, the casinos were up and running, and then the places that really mattered were never looked at. So it was us kind of like, you know, sticking it to the man.
And what was it like working with, you know, an older crowd who's known for their role as gangsters? Like, what did you learn from them on set?
Everything. I mean, we just in, not even just as actors, but I think just in like life situations, learning just the way that these people live their lives, and little things that they probably don't think are that important, but when you hear it, you're like, I gotta go write that down somewhere. You know, things that Terrence would say or things that Wesley would say. You'd be like, you know, like on voice memo trying to record these kind of like even and of course RZA, like on top of all things, like spending a month with him was just, you know, we'd go out to dinner and he would just, you want RZA to talk all of dinner. You don't want to get a word in edgewise, because his stories are so incredible, and you learn so much by being with him.
It's very humbling in that regard, because, like, you know, you might call him an OG, an old head, like, but when I think you kind of said it best, like when you listen to the stories, like these are people who created legacies for themselves, and these are people who have also set examples for us, you know, for men of the culture. Like, they've represented basically our soundscape of what we were listening to growing up, or either movies that we were watching growing up. So it would behoove us, like, we would be idiots to not listen to their stories, you know? Whether they play in gangster films, whether they play in martial art films, it really doesn't matter. It's all about the life experience.
It definitely dropped a lot of game. Terrence it was almost as if he used the opportunity with having us there to make sure that he shed light on things, and, you know, gave us a little bit of game that he could. Because once he was there, like my whole time on set with him, he was just dropping bars like all day long. He was like, all right, I'm here. This is what y'all need me for. Like, when it's time to act, I'm gonna get to what I gotta get to. I'm gonna handle business, but for in between takes, come here, young bloods. You know what I'm saying? Come here, young brothers. Let me holler at you and tell you something. It was just a whole lot of stuff, as well as Wesley, him giving a lot of knowledge, like workout stuff, like, cause I don't know, like a lot of people don't know, like Wesley's still in shape. He like 50-something years old. Like, if he had a white beater on set, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy to see this dude like still like in tip-top shape. Like, and then I'm asking Wesley, like, how you know, saying, how you get here? You still like this? And he's like, you know, gave me some game. I think we ended up doing some push-ups and some little yoga poses and all type of stuff.
Well, it was mainly the yoga poses. He was like, I swear by downward dog.
Right.
I swear by it.
He's like, look, do downward dog right now. Do it for 30 seconds. I guarantee you break a sweat. I'm like, all right, let's go. I get up, I'm like, oh shit, downward dog.
I've known Wesley for a long time, and the thing about Wesley is he's nothing like any other character he's played. He's not Nino Brown. The scene that I was in, he was an actor talking the lines through. And I'm like, man, it really feels like he's almost living this role. He's living this character. He knows it so well in his mind. And I think that's why, artistically, as a producer and a rapper, he was able to portray that whole mental image. They had like a cultish following. It's very similar to Comic-Con, if you want to think about it. That was kind of how the Wu-Tang fan base was.
How was it for you, T. Wood? You know, obviously you've done some acting gigs, but kind of stepping into a bigger role here, working with experienced actors. How has it been with the transition?
I never want to be the weakest link, and they'll probably tell you that, there's a man, you sound like you from New Orleans, Phil. You from New Orleans?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think just not wanting to be the weakest link. We all gonna get our chance to blow up and be, the top dog. And the same way I had to do it in mixed martial arts. I was the guy that was the training partner. Fly me down to ATT. I used to be a bag of bones. I sparred everybody. I used to spar twice a day. And it got to the point where it wasn't my moment yet. And I paid my dues, and when my moment came, then it was my time. So acting is no different, In acting, I'm a white belt. I'm growing, getting better, stretching myself. And this is just something different than what I would do in normal films. Like I said before, I can do the tough guy, Amy. I can do the thug, Easy. Those roles come to me really naturally, but things that don't. I don't want to get a script and get in a position where now I got to cry, and I haven't cried in 10 years. Or now I have to do, something super quirky, and it's just really not in my, personality. So I'm just trying to stretch myself and be comfortable everywhere.
I wasn't working with T. Wood. I'm a UFC guy, in case anyone didn't figure that out. So how was it working with T. Wood, kind of in this role and, working with a guy who's obviously well-known
Definitely tell the energy was there, that he put the work in. That's what I would say. Because I really didn't know what to expect. And the role is very much different from what he's, what you expected him to be.
Well, believe it or not,
It's very, very.
it's someone put in a situation where he's scared shitless, and it was cool. I mean, I've been watching his fights for a long time, so it was also interesting seeing him,
Way different
pissing his pants a little bit.
So he definitely brought it.
See that waiver.
Oh yeah.
So I actually want to follow up on that because, with your fights, and then you're also being a commentator, and you seem to do really well in front of the camera and with the, just you kind of embrace that. Is it something you see yourself kind of expanding more into?
For sure. I try to separate. The Tyron Woodly that has his own TMZ show, different than the actor, different than the Fox analyst, and way different than a fighter. As a fighter, out of all the things I do, that's the thing I do the least. I fight 3 times a year, maybe. I haven't fought in a year. So if you paint one house, that don't make you a painter. I fight because I'm good at it. I fight because I use it as a vehicle to open up other doors. But I plan on doing the same thing, being a world champion in acting, in film, in entertainment, in music, and anything that has to do with the art. So I just never want to be in something to be in it. If I'm going to be in it, I want to be all the way in. I want to be the best at it.
Diversifying your pops.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Demetrius, you got the joke that was coming about. To move away from that a little bit, because obviously it was an iconic moment for you to play that role, but obviously you have other goals as an actor.
Right. So that was a wonderful opportunity. It's led me to be here. So I'm forever grateful for that experience and for that mark in my career and in my life. But moving past it and giving this opportunity has been beautiful for me because it's a complete, different thing that I got to do. It's me breathing life into my own character and being from New Orleans and having that and taking on that and, embodying what it's like to be from the NOLA culture and, just separate myself and becoming my own person, my own actor, my own thing, and growing it.
There's obviously a lot of iconic heist movies out there. Heat, Dead Presidents. So what separates this movie? It's a heist movie, but what makes it different?
What makes it different? They were robbing casinos. They were young. Three and a half black guys.
It's because the heist movies, there's always desperation. I think it's the characters who are telling the story.
Right.
That makes it very different.
And not to interrupt you, but it's a relatable story that something that actually caused it. That it's an American historic event that happened that led us to get to this.
Well, the story is not about a bunch of thugs who get together and decide to go on heists. It's about a bunch of young kids who have grown up together and don't know what else to do, and they're in a time of need, and it's really to them it's their only choice of getting out and not being stuck in the Ninth Ward for the rest of their life.
Keenan, how is fan reception different for a movie like Cutthroat City as opposed to like a manga fandom like Alita?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a built-in fan base with the manga, but I mean, both receptions have been incredible. Yesterday was the Alita kickoff, and kind of got to watch people watch. You know, we showed 18 minutes of the footage, and people seem to love it. But on this side, you know, it's like you have the famous RZA directing, you know, a film that, you know, he nailed the kung fu aesthetic in Man with the Iron Fists, and I think that as a director, for him to be able to, very much like Robert Rodriguez, and why I think that they are close friends, and Quentin, like they have a style, but their style is not one specific way of shooting. So it was cool being a fan of Man with the Iron Fists, and then seeing how he approached this film, trying to like nail the aesthetic of the Ninth Ward and nail the aesthetic of these like young gritty kids. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to be part of both films, and they're both looking great so far.
I don't know what he did on Alita, but he definitely stands out in this movie for sure. His character is definitely someone that you're going to be captivated by.
How did you all become a part of this project?
I actually I heard about it a long time ago. My roommate at the time, Jared Einson, was one of the producers on the film, and he's sitting right over there. And he brought this character to me and said, "Is this something that you'd be interested in playing?" And it was, you know, how could you not? And with the people that he was surrounding the cast with, and I've obviously been a fan of all these guys' work, and I just thought it'd be so fun to spend a month in New Orleans and become brothers and get gritty and act. There's nothing better.
The rest of you?
I was kind of like the last man to get the call. I was like the sixth man off the bench. For no real purpose, really. It was like the same producer Jared, and also Will, who I'd worked with on another film called Submerge. They both hit me up like literally, I think it was the day before Thanksgiving, and you guys were about to roll with the production, and they hit me up and they were like, "Yo, man, so we need the heart. We need somebody to come in and make people cry." Like, you want to come do this film in New Orleans? And they just started listening to the cast, and I was like, whoa, hold on. So yeah, this is happening because, you know, it's Thanksgiving, it's the end of the year, things like start to follow down a little, like, you know, dwindle down basically to vacations and whatnot. So I'm thinking the rest of my year is set. All of a sudden, next thing I know, day after Thanksgiving, back to the house, fly out. So
I got called by Will, one of the producers. I did a movie called Keean Johnson. So we did that movie, and then he called me about this part. He said, "Man, I'm gonna warn you, man. It's a little different. You know, I want you to read this first and see if you're comfortable with it." And then, you know, I just fought not too long ago. You know, money-wise, I was all right. You know, I wasn't rich, but I wasn't broke. That's a good place to be. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, do I really want to go out there and do this for, you know, this particular part? And, you know, in film, you always got to consider, how is this going to impact your career? Is this going to be something that helps it? There's certain roles that I don't care what the dollar amount is, I'm never going to do those certain types of roles. So I read it, I thought about it, prayed about it, and I said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. So that's kind of how it happened.
For me, I don't lie, but I got a call. Like, I got the email, to self-tape. I believe it was either self-tape or come in, and that they had sent it to me. And then I think a little bit later on, the day, I got offered. I was like, oh, that was nice. And then I seen the names attached to it. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Yo, don't hesitate nothing. You know, don't slow nothing down. I need the paperwork fast. Let's move it fast. Let me sign quick, and I'm ready to go. So it was just amazing. I'm so happy, and excited, because it came right off of All Eyes on Me. And I had the most amazing experience as far as my second movie that I could ever have.
One cool thing about building portions of building this movie when we were doing Escape Plan 2. So they hadn't had the cash yet, and they were showing me who they were thinking about using, completely different than everybody that's on the panel right now. And you know, it was good actors, but it was just budgeting and raising funds for it. I mean, the concept of it, what he was thinking about it. And then sometimes a project stops there. It never really reaches the point where it hit fruition, where you actually get somebody to see the same vision you have and invest that money into that. And it takes one or two big name actors to commit, because if you would have seen a list of actors that you didn't know, maybe you would have thought a second or third about it. But when you start seeing people with strong careers and strong names behind it, start to attach themselves. So more importantly for me, I thought it was dope for me to see this was an idea. Like on the smallest little one-page press kit thing ever, and then over time it's getting better, we're getting closer. You know, we got people that are interested, and to see what it's become now, I think this is like a sleeper movie that's going to do crazy numbers. I think it's going to do crazy. I think it's like when you think about like a New Jack City, or you think about the budget of a Friday or a movie like that, that just because of the energy, the youth in the acting, the OGs in there, what they're talking about, New Orleans has had